night of the big game, and you're sitting on the sidelines with your teammates, and you're anxious as anything. Like, you feel like you're gonna throw up, your nerves are crazy. But you know, as soon as you have that first hit, everything's gonna be okay. At least that was the experience that I always had. It was getting that first hit out of the way. Once that happened, I could get into the game. Welcome to Run to the Roar. I'm your host, Mike Harlander. Now, the premise of this podcast is going to be around how lions hunt. And the legend or the story goes that how lions hunt is they take all of the older established lions and they put them on one edge of the clearing. And then they put all of the young, aggressive lions on the sidelines and the other side. So that when the prey comes into the prairie, comes into the clearing of the opening, they have the older, established, not as fast lions decide to roar and bellow into the clearing. And what happens time and time again is the gazelle runs towards the younger, more nimble, more aggressive lions and is eaten and taken out of the situation. But if they would take a moment and run to the roar, run to where the fear is based, then they have a possibility of breaking through, of finding the freedom, of reaching the dreams. And it's interesting that we interact the same way for the most part. We run away from the roar instead of running to it. You know, there was a book in which Thomas Edison was interviewed on several occasions by Napoleon Hill. And in one of those occasions, Thomas Edison spoke to Hill about a partner that come to see him, that had asked to work with him time and time again. And what Edison said to him was that he has seen that when a man puts everything at stake on one spin of the wheel, time and time again, he's successful. Well, for me, this one spin is right now. This desire is this moment. And I look at some of the premises of the reasons I wanted to start this podcast, the reason I wanted to have this conversation about running to the roar, is I was in the car with one of my good friends a couple years back, and he was talking about the level of anxiety that he has. And where he's found that it's sourced in is that he's always trying to create the magic and the enjoyment and the mystery of what it was like when we were in middle school and high school. That he's chasing that dream, that level of excitement, and he can't seem to find it. And that kind of got me, and it had me sitting in the question, well, what is that about us? Why do we stop running to the roar? When do we decide to give up on our hopes and our dreams? When do we start to put it away? And maybe it's not just one big event. Maybe it's little by little, little nicks here and there that we start to put things away. Now look, I want to be clear on the front end. I'm not claiming to be an expert. The Pope didn't whisper into my ear and say, Mike, this is the message to change people's future and have them retain all of their dreams. But what I am saying is I do have a strong track record for producing results, a strong track record for running to the roar and doing crazy things. And I'm not asking that you do all of those crazy things, but I am asking that you join me on this journey as we explore what it looks like to face our fears and run towards them. You know, I've done things like ran a marathon after 40, gotten a graduate degree starting at 41, just finished up at 43 last year. I've had entrepreneurial ventures, some that were amazing, some that I got bumps and bruises and lessons from. But each time I've learned that if I run towards the fear and I face it, things are going to be great at the end of that. It may be painful during it, but if I run towards it, I can get through. If I'm willing to stake it all on one spin of the wheel, I can get through. And so can you. Now look, I'm not saying that what you should do is what my wife and I did. We were planning until COVID hit on moving to Amsterdam and launching a business and launching a training company and settling over there. But COVID hit and we had put our house up on the market, we had sold our cars, and we had plane tickets bought, but the EU kept shifting when the visas were going to be available. So what do we have to do? We had to pivot. So we bought an RV and we've been traveling around the lower 48. So far we've got 31 states left, 17 to follow that will be starting here in the next few weeks. And then hopefully after that, Europe opens up and we're able to continue on that dream. We're able to run towards that roar. But for me, this is the big one. This spin of the wheel, I'm all in. right? I've sold everything. I'm putting my chips on the table on the spin of this wheel. And what I realized is that in every endeavor, whether it was entrepreneurship or in sales or sales management, my favorite thing to do was to support and inspire people to reach their goals. Whatever it was. If I was with a client, I was interested and excited about whatever project it was, but I was more excited about what projects they had going on in their life. And was there anything that I could do to support them in obtaining that dream, in reaching that goal? So here's the deal. I'm jumping into a project that I know somewhat about, right? From the courses and the distinctions and how to create results, I've got it covered. But this is a whole new language for me. We're about to launch a website, an e-course, a podcast. My wife has been writing some brilliant blogs. We've been testing things on social media. We've run like 3 ads and tried things out. But in the coming weeks, we're going all in, right? We're going to be running a full marketing campaign. I'm trying to figure out SEO. I'm trying to figure out analytics. And you get to live it with me. Most of the time when you get to a podcast or a course or something like that, they're coming out and they're the expert and they're the guru and they're going to solve all your problems. I'm not promising to solve all your problems. I am promising that A, I'll bring you on this journey with me and there's going to be some ups and downs. And B, that I'll play full out each time we engage to see if I can inspire you and push you to reach your dreams. You know, there's probably goals that you have that are sitting on the sidelines. And maybe you're like, now's not the time, or I can't take the risk, or I can't do that. I got to be a dad, or I got to be a mom, or I got to be responsible. I'm not saying you avoid responsibility. I'm not saying you do any of that. I am saying there's something that's in that field, in that clearing, in that opening that you've been wanting to run towards, and you haven't. So here's an offer. Let's go on this journey together. You live this with me. You live this trial and this trial by fire with me. And if I don't make it, well, then you get to give up on your dreams too. But if I do, if we come out on the other side, if my wife and I and our project called the Odyssey, if that starts to crush it, if we figure SEO out and we figure all these things out and we build this following and give people tools to transform their lives and we're making it, then you've got to take whatever's on that shelf that you've had. I don't care if it's been 10 years or 20 years, whatever's on that shelf, you've got to promise me that you're going to put it on the field and you're going to play full out and you're going to run towards that roar. So this is what this Run to the Roar podcast is all about. I'm excited for this possibility, for this opportunity that we've worked so hard for. And right now, I'm doing this podcast by an RV down by a lake. And the goal is that by the end of this podcast series, I'm not doing it in a van down by the river. So until next time, Run to the Roar, and I'll see you soon.